Hi, everybody. It's Mr. Gray here. Thank you again for another great week. Just a couple of announcements for next week. Number one, there is no school on Monday. It is Veterans Day on Monday, so teachers and students have the day off. So we have a short week next week. The second big announcement is that next Friday is the last day of trimester one. So believe it or not, we're already a third of the way through the school year. We're definitely pretty much wrapped up with any trimester one items as we kind of finish things next week. Those will probably go on trimester two. So that's kind of just where we're at. And then, report cards will come out shortly, but the trimester actually ends next Friday, the 15th. So we're already into trimester two, believe it or not, getting close to the end of the school year. The final announcement is the presidential election happened this week. We were kind of watching some of the coverage of it leading up to on the show that we watched called CNN 10. The kids had lots of opinions. Ultimately, what I'm trying to get across is the process that politicians go through, that the country goes through to elect a leader. I don't really have an interest in discussing like my stance on any particular candidate at any time. So I hope that if students had questions, they came to you to kind of chat about kind of your family and what your values are important and what they think. There are lots of opinions going on, but as far as our class was concerned, we were very much concerned with like the process of the Electoral College and a little bit of a history of why it's not only up to a popular vote and why it matters that, the president-elect has the same party in the houses of Congress and why that's helpful, or if it was the opposite, why it makes things harder. So that's really what we focused on. But, the kids seem to have lots of opinions and interests. So if you didn't get a chance to ask them about, kind of their thoughts on the election or what they heard from other students, definitely ask them. It'd be interesting to know what was on their mind. Moving on to academics. In reading next week, first, we were going to read aloud the book Holes. I didn't realize the kids had read it last year, so we'll find a new read aloud and I'll get back to you on that. As far as our academics go, the rest of this year through 2024 is all about kind of like nonfiction reading, and then we're using that nonfiction reading and pulling out claims and reasons and evidence, and we're prepping for debates. And the kids will have to do a little bit of writing about that and turn some things in, but ultimately they're getting ready for some debates. Their first debate in reading is all about should people be allowed to climb Mount Everest. So this last week, and into next week, the kids are going to be gathering research and then organizing it, and then eventually prepping for a debate. I don't think they're going to do their first debate next week. We're going to still be prepping, but it'll be coming up very shortly after that. In writing, things are very closely aligned. The kids are writing an argument. They're doing a lot of the same kind of thing. They are doing research about whether or not chocolate milk should be served or banned or allowed in schools. And so they're gathering research and they're going to be writing about that. We're really going to talk about the structure of opinion and argument writing. The kids will prep the structure that they're going to use, and then they'll actually draft their writing. In math, we're going to continue our work in fractions. We're going to discuss different strategies for multiplying decimals, and we'll use some time to use those in kind of like a real world application, which will continue. And then also our first CML test will be on Thursday, and so we'll take some time to prep for that too. In social studies, the kids are going to work on an essay called a document-based question. It matches our writing a lot. It will have kind of a similar structure to an argument or an opinion. And it'll be on kind of like a hypothetical question that the kids will have to kind of use evidence to defend their position, what they think happened. So we'll be reviewing documents, collecting information, organizing that information, and then getting ready to write the essay about that. The kids will have science lab with Ms. DeMarco. We're actually going to start Wordly Wise for some vocabulary study next week. The kids will have buddies. We should get a mile run practice in next week. And then also the kids are working on their board games. Their board games were originally due next Friday the 15th, but it had to get moved around because of schedules. So they'll be presenting their board games to the 6th grade APA students and the 4th grade APA students on Tuesday the 22nd. So I think they're really excited for that. So thank you for another great week. Have a great long weekend. And then after next week, there's just one more full week, and then we have the week off for Thanksgiving week, which would be the week that starts on the 25th, I believe. So, and then there's only 3 weeks after that. So in a nutshell, we have about 5 weeks left of school before the end of 2024. And as usual, there's a lot going on. So thank you so much for your support and all your help. And thanks letting me get to teach your kids. It's really fun. We're having a good time in lots of things that we're doing in the class. And they've been so energized this week for the presidential election and some of the stuff that we're doing. So it's been great. Have a wonderful weekend. Like I said, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.